Hi, this is Jim. This video describes a tool that can be used to improve thinking by radically changing a user's ability to store and access important information. In this case, we'll use idea content as an example, but this method can be used for better access to any information that is important to you. We'll start with ideas because everyone uses these kinds of ideas all day long, every day. To keep it interesting, we'll talk about idea processing and the system itself in a mega context. But for now, just think of it as a virtual filing cabinet that looks like this and works like this. The set of ideas shown here represent a very broad spectrum of philosophical thought. The tools in the system described below can easily map your memory to work as seen on the screen. Your first question might be this: why would I want my mind to work like this? When you think about it, the benefits are practically endless. For example, ideas in the philosophic sense are important to every decision you make, and faster, essentially instant access to a wider set of ideas can only improve decision making and problem solving. I think there are obvious individual advantages for learning a system like this. Sorry in advance, but what follows here is fairly heavy content. It may seem depressing at first, but in fact, this is a very optimistic outlook because the tool being described here is a problem-solving tool. So we'll use a very large problem for some context. There is one particular issue that has been plaguing us for a long time now, ever since the invention of this. As a result of this equation, we have thousands of very powerful weapons pointed at each other, and virtually no progress in the kind of social problem solving required to obviate this long-term threat. For a long time, thinking about problems like this has been described as thinking the unthinkable. Ironically, the solution to this and other problems probably requires us to unthink what is thinkable, or rethink what is thinkable, meaning the actual mechanics of thinking. At the time that this equation was born, another related equation became even more important. This video is about a system I call the POW system. I call it the POW system for a number of reasons, including the useful acronyms it accommodates. POW can serve as an acronym for this question: will our future be characterized by peace or war? Another related acronym looks like this: the potential for destruction equals opinion polarization times advancements in weapons technology squared. Weapons technology is squared in this equation to reflect the increased risk posed by artificial intelligence and the radically increasing potential for spreading these technologies. For the sake of defining what I mean by potential for destruction, I essentially mean us. Many people don't realize that in the last century, well over 50 million people died as a result of various forms of opinion polarization. Many more casualties if you include other solvable problems like starvation, and we seem to have learned very little. Thousands of great books and millions of university degrees later, and despite the lessons of the past, we still have significant differences. Deep-seated opinion polarization was dangerous enough when our best weapons were bows and arrows. It is a radically different matter in the age of nuclear weapons. There is no reason to believe that more great books or more university degrees are going to lead to improved social or political problem solving. Books may be necessary, but they are not sufficient for better problem solving. If we don't find a new way to solve the problem of polarization, weapons advancements will ultimately, with the certainty of this valid equation, solve it for us. We need more free-thinking thought leaders and a lot fewer people permanently attached to other people's ideas. A central hypothesis here is that the POW system can make a difference because it gives each person a means and a personal motive to move in the direction of a collective solution. Here's how. The above equation clearly illustrates the dire and increasing need for reconciling differences between people and between cultures. Using the POW system, simple software can radically change the individual thought processes we use for almost everything, including the type of thinking we use to understand and potentially reconcile differences. At this stage, the software is functional, not beautiful, And what it does through an easy process of inculcation is map a part of your mind so that it is always ready and able to do this. It may not seem obvious at first, but you can use this mode of thinking to improve almost anything. This is a slow motion representation so that you can see the effect. We are showing it this way so that your conscious mind can perceive it. In practice, the system will condition your subconscious mind to access this information much faster than what you see here. This is essentially the ability to access the entire possible thought spectrum at will in a matter of seconds. So the hope is that people will adopt this way of thinking for practical reasons. All else being equal, it gives users significant advantages in many settings. For example, the benefits of a course or a book will be noticeably improved because you will process that material in a more systematic way, including better ability to retain important content. The system is built to give you full and immediate access to a set of ideas referred to as POWLEX for lexicon. POWLEX is the set of 100 universal and non-ideological ideas used in the POW system that encompass within 1 degree of separation the entire range of possible philosophical and political thought and discussion. It is not a set of ideological ideas. The opinion reconciliation potential of the system depends upon all of the attributes being true. Among other things, it is also a tool that can be used to reconcile any differences of opinion among users of the system. On all matters, your mind, when given a problem, should have a full set of ideas to solve that problem. This includes the problem of differences of opinion, starting with extreme differences, often resulting from various forms of extreme thinking. In fact, many users will likely find that in addition to its other stated purposes, the system will also facilitate a clearer perspective on some forms of extreme thinking that are often a cause of opinion polarization. For this purpose, extreme thinking will be defined here as any thinking that cannot survive in its present form and force in your mind, with a very wide set of competing ideas. More importantly, since an entire idea spectrum is always instantly available, it will also serve as a screen to immediately recognize and filter the idea content of all incoming verbal or written messages. Better thinking improves everything, including non-rational aspects of problem solving. Better collective thinking is essential to solving the problem posed by this equation. What was shown here is just one part of a much larger system. For more information, see the other IamPow.com YouTube videos and the IamPow.com website. If you agree with the concepts mentioned here, or think it's just a step in the right direction, please share this video.